Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 58 of Bardic Quest, the show where a group of British trained actors tell fantastical improvised stories through the medium of Dungeons and Dragons. A huge thank you, first of all, to James Webster for providing the wonderful animated artwork that is showcased throughout the show. Do check him out, patreon.com/JamesRPGArt. Apologies once again, as with last week's episode, we had a little bit of technical difficulties with the recording of this session, so Isaac is unfortunately having to record on his phone, but it's better than no Isaac at all, so we're happy to make that sacrifice, so apologies again. And it is, unfortunately, just Annina and Isaac because of scheduling issues, because D&D. And finally, if you haven't yet checked out our merch store, or if you have been toying with the idea of getting some Bardic Quest merch, now is the time, because from today, being the 3rd of November 2022, through to the 13th of November 2022, there is 20% off of everything. So do check it out, bardicquest.com/shop. Wonderful. So, without further ado, let's get into this week's episode of Bardic Quest. Last time, after Sergei had ventured into Cragmore Castle but not returned out, Saga and Thorik had to make new plans for their entry into the Cragmore Castle. Like Sergei, before them, they tried the side entrance to the castle, to no joy, as the iron door to that entryway was locked firmly shut. And rather than choosing to create a ruckus by trying to force their way through the door, decided that discretion was the better part of valor, and made plots to make their way through the main entranceway of the castle by creating a distraction with a fire, a small fire, in the forest outside the castle. So they built the fire, and 3 goblins went to investigate and started putting out the fire, which gave Thorik and Saga and their barbarian friends the opportunity to venture through the main gate into the shadowed hall beyond. Following an open door, which had been left open by an invisible Sergei previously, they followed a trail which he had left behind for them, which led them into a goblin shrine of sorts, where they have found 3 goblins kneeling at an altar in prayer. And upon spotting our heroes, drew their weapons, and we now prepare for battle. So let's roll some initiative, please.
16.
16 for Saga.
Dirty 20.
Oh, nice. Okay, and then the goblins is going to be a 2, which I think is fair because they've somewhat been taken off guard. I'm not going to quite go with surprised, but certainly off guard. Actually, no. No, they're surprised. They're surprised.
Yay!
Because, you know, they were praying.
Yeah.
And I think that qualifies as surprise. So it will go Thorik, Saga, and the goblins after they are no longer surprised. So that means then, Thorik, you are up. So we have the difficult situation, of course, whereby we're all stuck in a doorway. So you have in front of you, you have Boar, and then you have Saga in the doorway, and the goblins beyond. So what would you like to do in this instance?
Okay. I mean, am I allowed to move through my patriots? In a sort of British kind of... Excuse me, pardon me, sorry.
Well, I mean, we have ruled it that way before, so I'll stay consistent and say yes.
It's the cinema shuffle.
Yeah.
Particularly as they're not currently like in combat, like
correct, yeah.
Face to face. Well, obviously, if they were, that might make it. Sorry, can I just pop through? I'm a bit busy at the moment. Can you wait your turn?
So yeah, so you have, as you can see into the room, it's a 20-foot by 20-foot room with an altar slightly to the left as you're looking in. You've got two of the goblins in front of the altar. So directly as you look in through the doorway, they're directly in front of you. And then kind of just tucked behind the altar is a slightly more priestly looking goblin. And he stood behind the altar to your left.
Okay. Can I, with my 25 movement, can I reach the priestly looking goblin?
Let me see. 25 movement. Yes. Yeah. From if you're moving through them and your compatriots and then heading to the back of the altar, yes, you could. However, it's quite a tight room, so if you were to go to the goblin at the back, you would provoke an attack of opportunity. Oh no, it's a surprise round, so actually it wouldn't. Never mind.
I mean, if it's going to put me in an awkward position, I will just go into the... In fact, to make them come to us, I'm going to go into the room, take a step to the side so I'm out of the way of the door. And then I'm going to... what's that one? For the feet. I'm going to take out one of my javelins.
Ooh, this is new.
One of my javelins that I picked up from the orcs, I believe. Just like flips it out of his pack. It's got them kind of like tied and secured to the side. She flips one out and just with the shield still for balance, just straight at this goblin's face. At the priestly one, while remaining distance.
Okay, let's only because it's such tight quarters, because it's only a 20-foot by 20-foot room and the altar's fairly central to the room. Let's do the throwing of the javelin just so you don't take it at disadvantage before you actually move to the side.
Cool. Yep.
So as you're coming through, literally as you're entering the room, you're throwing this javelin and then you move to the side afterwards. Okay.
Cool. Okie dokie. That is a 16 to hit.
16 will indeed hit, sir.
I believe it's a... The D6. D6 plus 2. 5 points of piercing damage. This just straight in the arm. Straight in the arm.
Yeah, and it lets out a shriek as you really go straight into some of the muscle in the arm, and it's just absolutely pouring with blood. And it's just got this javelin just kind of poking out of its arm. It's just like flailing about. Okay. Any bonus actions that you'd like to do?
3 goblins. I'm going to say no for this one.
Okie doke. All right. So then, now you do have your 2 barbarians. They're not engaged with anybody, so they're not going to get an attack this round. But you can move them into position if you want to.
Yeah, can I just get them to bully in and kind of, you know what? Just meat shield in front of me. Actually, just
okay.
Why not?
All right.
Just so they're tucked out of the way of Saga and her man, but ready.
Sure.
And if they've got the They don't get like actions and that sort of thing, same as we do.
No, they don't. No,
fine.
they attack with when you attack basically, unless you miss. In which case they get an attack action for free essentially.
Great. And they don't have any ranged attacks, do they?
No, they do not. No.
That's right. Lovely. I'll get them in and protecting me.
So how I've positioned you, because again it is fairly close quarters in this room. So how I've positioned you in my mind is that you've moved to you've gone in the door, you've moved to the right. So you've actually got this thick curtain to your immediate right. And you've got one of the barbarians stood kind of in front of you to the right. You're kind of diagonally looking into the room. You've got a goblin in front of you, and the difficulty is with this other barbarian is we can meat shield him, but he might block the door for you.
Just get him in there. Just put him in.
Yeah.
Get him in.
All right. Cool.
And can I bonus action just pull this curtain down?
Sure.
I'm just like, fuck your curtain.
let's give that a strength check, because sometimes a curtain can be a bit of a bugger to tear down.
If I can't get this down.
God, if you're defeated by a curtain.
It would really be egg on face moment, wouldn't it?
Oh no.
It's a 13.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I think a 13 is fair. So you just tear this curtain down. And
How strong would the curtain be?
Yeah, well, exactly.
The curtain's got like 13 armor class.
So you tear this curtain down, and there's just this dark hallway beyond. You can't really see much in there at this point. It's just a hallway for now, without you going further in. But yes, dark beyond. Which obviously you can see into. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that then brings us to you, Saga.
Okay.
So you now have Thorik's just kind of politely barged past you and sent your two barbarians in with him. And you now have yourself and Boar are still in the previous room looking in.
Well, as I move in, I'm going to take my crossbow out and shoot while... Let's do a drive-by shooting as we come in.
Nice. Okay. So let's do it as again, just so you're not doing it at disadvantage, because we're at fairly close quarters.
Yeah.
We'll do the shooting first, and then the running in.
22 to hit.
Oh, nice. And now, are you firing this at the same goblin that Thorik hit with the javelin, or one of the others?
No, I'm gonna go for one of the others.
Okay. So you've got the more priestly-looking one, or you've got the lesser.
Let's go for one of the lesser.
Okay. So this is the one behind, essentially, just behind the one that Thorik hit.
So 1d8 plus 2, which is 6 points.
Ooh, okay. So you fire this crossbow bolt at it. This goblin also just completely taken by surprise, and you get it right in the joint of the shoulder, and like it's his compatriot lets out an agonizing scream as just blood just pours out. It's looking pretty battered just from that one hit, but he's not down yet.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna move in to the room.
Yep.
I'm gonna stay 10 foot away.
It's kind of impossible to see.
It's
close quarters.
Okay, fine. It's fine. I'll come into the room.
Yeah.
And sort of give room for Boar to attack next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's put you as you're coming in, you scurry off to the left into the corner. So you've got directly kind of in front of you. Well, to your left, you've got the wall of the tower. Directly in front of you, you've got the priestly-looking goblin, and slightly to your right, you've got the altar, and then the other side of the altar, two of these other goblins, and then to your right, you've got Thorik and Ivor and Grigor.
Okay.
Down that way. So we're going to bring in Boar, and we'll bring him in so he's immediately to your right, between you and Thorik, basically. Yeah. Okay. That sound good?
Yes, sounds good.
Great.
So now it's Boar's turn. I would like Boar to go in like behind the altar to get the two that are hiding behind the altar.
Okay, he's going to be able to get in engaged with one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
we
all we
can
need.
do that. All right, cool. What I'll do, because it's the same as I ruled it with Thorik, because they weren't engaged when you attack.
Mhm.
We'll give them an attack the next round. So you've got him into position.
Yeah.
So next time you attack, he's got somebody to attack with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought better to save you the disadvantage of your ranged attack. In that instance. All right, great. So now it's the Gobbo's turns. Oh no, it's not, because it's a surprise. They're surprised. So it brings us back to Thorik then. So in front of you, you've got the goblin with the javelin kind of swinging about, stuck in its arm, and just behind him, out of your reach in terms of melee reach, you've got the one that Saga hit with the crossbow bolt, and then the altar behind them, and then the priestly one there. You've got your two barbarians are currently engaged with the goblin with the javelin in his arm.
Cool. Could we move to... I'm going to attack the one with the javelin in his arm.
Okay.
Now. Can I... If he dies, can I move them? Do we have enough movement, if it's just a 20 by 20 room, do we have enough movement to get to the priestly goblin after that?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cool. So would they be able to attack the priestly one, or do they have to go on my...
So unless you miss your attack, it's assumed that your retainers go on, they attack with your attack, basically.
Perfect.
So if they're not engaged with somebody, the way I'm ruling it, if they're not engaged with somebody when you attack, that you don't get their attack.
That's fair. That's cool.
Unless
Lovely.
you miss.
Just Warhammer, just coming in, cracking him around the head. Maybe kind of like just wiggles the javelin in his arm to like move him out of the way and cause more stress. It's a 19 to hit.
Oh, okay. How are you finishing him, sir?
Oh, crikey. Oh, well. Just quietly, even though they've been screamed, I just chest, just full on, just crushes him. He goes down like a crumpled packet of crisps. Which Thorik's father is currently trying to get off the ground as a thing, like, small little bags of
potato snack.
Doesn't really caught on, but he just thinks, the sound, maybe the sound could be a marketing tool. It's gone off on a really strange tangent.
I love it.
So the goblin in front of you and with and that Ivor and Grigor are engaged with just drops to the ground. Now, I would say that one of your barbarians is close enough to the other goblin that the Saga hit with the crossbow to get a hit in on that goblin.
Cool.
Which means, because that goblin actually only had one hit point left, I'm not even going to get him to roll. So that goblin behind him also drops. So how is your barbarian finishing him?
I think it'll be... it's Gregor. He's I imagine he's the slightly better looking of the two. Which isn't saying much. And he's just going to come in.
Couple more teeth than Big Brother.
Yeah, they've got like big axes, haven't they? He steps over me and just like I feel the blade like whistle over my head.
Yes.
And just thunk into the goblin. I look around like, who are you aiming for there? I had to carve a bit of a low angle to get the goblin.
Yeah.
You very nearly feel the end of your ponytail just kind
of... It does the thing where the hair just kind of flops over it, like that.
Nearly, but not quite.
If you want Thorik to Because
Rage.
like multiclass into barbarian. You want Thorik to rage. Go for his ponytail and his beard.
Yeah.
Sentence. But no, that's wonderful. And can I move Ivor towards the priestly goblin?
You certainly can, yes.
And I'll stay where I am for now.
Okay. So Ivor is basically just going to step over the two goblins, and he's going to move round the altar, so he's behind the priestly goblin. So actually, there's an opportunity for some flanking. Okay. Wonderful. So that then brings us, unless you're going to move anywhere, Thorik, because you've not moved yet.
As it's only a 20 by 20 room, I should be able to reach him anyway on my next turn.
Sure. Okay.
I'm going to stay where I am to keep an eye on this shadowy passageway next to me. And I don't know if I'll be able to do this during combat. Do I see anything? Do I hear anything from that corridor?
That's a good question. So let's see now. Do you want to give me a... Let's go with a perception check. Let's go with the perception check.
Perception. 15.
15. From where you are, which gives you limited view of the room because you're not even in it. I would say no. Nothing really of interest in there from where you currently are stood.
I'm sure it's fine then.
Of course, obviously.
We go wrong. That's me.
Okie dokie. So that then brings us to you, Saga.
Okay.
So you're now stood. You've got directly in front of you. You're in the corner of the room. Directly in front of you, you've got the priestly goblin. Slightly to your right, you have the altar, and behind the altar, there are now two fallen goblins. And you have Ivor behind the priestly goblin, giving you an opportunity to flank if you'd like to. But you are about 10. You'd have to move. You're not in melee range with this priestly goblin.
Am I in melee range with any of the goblins right now?
Not right now. There's only one goblin left.
Yeah.
So it's only a step forward, really, into engagement.
Let's flank then. Let's get in there.
All right. Great stuff.
And changing for my great sword.
Okay.
I'm not gonna use my superiority dice because there's only one left. That's an 8 to hit. That's not gonna hit, is it?
I'm afraid not. No. So you swing your great sword at the goblin, but it just kind of, because you kind of swap to your sword, it almost signposted your very next move, and it just dodged out of the way and just kind of ducked from your swing of your sword.
Right. I'm gonna hope.
Did you roll that with advantage, by the way, because of the flanking?
I did not. I did not. There we go. Thank you. Okay, with advantage, it's 11.
No different, I'm afraid. No retconning needed there.
Yeah,
sorry.
There we go. Well,
Never
let's
mind.
hope Boar hits him then. So Boar's gonna go for the same.
Sure.
Remaining goblin. Do I roll for him or?
Yes, you will need to roll for him because you missed with your attack.
Okay, do I get an attack bonus at all?
Yes, so the Barbarian Reaver gets a +6 to their attack
+6
roll. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Come on, Ball.
Go, Ball.
Dirty 20.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, so it's going to be a 1d12 + 3.
1d12?
Yeah, these are...
Pretty good.
Yeah.
13.
Oh, how's he finishing him?
I think if it's an axe, I just want him to like just cut him and
Cleave him in two.
Yeah, into
Just
yeah.
Now
Yeah.
the question is, does the cleaving come from above or across?
Oh, above.
Oh.
Literally, like they're brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Brutal
these are brutal guys.
Brutal is right. So, we are now out of combat. You are now in this altar room, this shrine. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I want to have a closer look at just the room in general. Anything, any clues, any loot, anything in the ritual area.
Sure. So, the main really point of interest here is the altar itself. It's not really much else in here. It's got a bloodstained cloth upon it. The sides of the altar are they have got like engravings upon them, engraved images. Would you like to give me a religion? Actually, no. Thorik, actually. Actually, you're proficient in religion. In fact, Saga, are you proficient in religion? I don't think you are.
No, I'm not.
No. Thorik, you are proficient in religion, right?
Nope.
You're not proficient in religion.
Nope. He.
I think that was a character choice, wasn't
Yes.
It comes up a lot. Thorik is a very unreligious cleric.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. Well, I tell you what. I mean, as a cleric, I think you'd have some religious knowledge at least, particularly given your family
like,
history. So
some of it would go in at some point.
Sure. Could you give me a religion check then, please?
15.
Okay, great. So these engravings are of gods, and certainly gives you a clue as to where the gods that were originally revered here, which were a combination of Timora, who you're familiar with your dealings with Sister Gariel, goddess of luck, Lathander, the god of dawn, Mistra, goddess of magic, and Ogma, god of knowledge. Upon the altar, Saga, there's a chalice, a knife, and a censer.
Okay. Well, she doesn't really know what she's looking at because this is not out of her realm of.
They look.
She would ask Thorik, like, do you know anything about this?
I mean, in fairness, I should probably point out these are made of gold.
Made of gold.
These items,
yeah,
they're ritualistic in appearance for sure.
I mean, yeah, she would ask Thorik, do you know anything about these?
Thorik relays the information about the gods that he recognizes, kind of in a very offhand, slightly sort of voice. Oh, yeah, that's Timora there. Goddess of luck, Lysander, dawn, Lystra, magic, Ogma, knowledge, obviously. Those are some very unkept and not very well looked after ritualistic items. Don't really want to know what they've been doing with them, but they look pretty valuable.
You don't think we'd anger any gods by taking them?
They're not. Is Thorik very clear that these goblins are not praying to these gods?
Yes, I think it's. In fact, give me a religion check.
19.
19. Okay. Yeah. From what a little priestly clothing these goblins were wearing, they were wearing robes over some armor, and these goblins were clearly praying to one of their own gods named Maglubiet, which, Thorik, you will know to be essentially the goblin god of war. One of the chief goblin deities that exists in their pantheon.
Yeah, I relay this to Saga about Maglubiet and say, frankly, if anything, taking back these items and utilizing them how they were meant to, I think whatever harm could be done to the gods has already been done by these goblins. So you wouldn't need to worry.
Because I'd take them and sell them.
Do I've got. You won't hear any judgment from me. I think there's a little bit too much pomp and circumstance in that sort of thing, anyway.
Okay, she'll just take them. So it's a dagger.
Mm-hmm.
A dagger, a censer. What else?
And a chalice.
Yoink is the active term for looting.
I'll have those.
Thorik is really blasé. Thorik is so gods shouldn't have material wealth. They don't need it. He's just like, fucking take it. He doesn't care.
And Saga is a staunch atheist. Doesn't believe in anything. Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything else you'd like to do in here?
Is there any more grain tracks leading anywhere?
No.
Is this shadowy corridor guarded by the curtain the only other way out of this room, other than the door that we came in?
Yes.
Great. Then I'd just say to Saga, let's I think we got to be as quick as we can. Don't want anyone else hearing us.
Are we going through the curtain? Well, where the curtain used to be?
I was just doing some redecorating, you know.
Okay, we'll head towards the curtain way.
Okay.
Thorik will go first because he can see into the dim light.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take a step into the dark hallway. What's your marching order now? How are you arranging this?
Thorik first.
Yep.
I'd say as much as my guys are with me, as it were, I'd probably put Saga's hand on my shoulder for now.
Yeah,
sure.
Like that.
And then we got the three
and then we have
barbarians behind. Sure. Okay. So you step into what is a high but narrow hall. The hall itself, I mean, I say narrow, it's still probably about 20 foot high, but it's 20 foot wide, but it's quite long, so it makes it look relatively narrow. This hall does look, Thorik, as though it might have been part of a chapel or a shrine at one time. Clearly connected to the shrine that you've just been through. There are angelic figures sculpted along the room's upper reaches, looking down on the floor below. And they're above the archways that you've just been through. There are some more carvings, and on the other side of the room, there's a matching archway, which also has heavy curtains, which you think leads back, as there was another entryway with curtains in the shrine that you were just in. So you assume that just loops around. And between these two archways, there is a cracked but ornately carved stone brazier. Again, all of these carvings looking to represent Ogma, Mistra, Lathander, and Timora, much as the altar did as well. Is there anything you'd like to do?
And we are pretty sure that we're alone.
Give me a perception check, please.
8.
8. Appears so. Now, are you also continuing stealthiness at this point, or are you being a little bit more brazen?
Probably now trying to be stealthy, I guess. Like,
Okay.
Try, yeah. Sort of
try being the optimum word.
Could you give me both stealth checks with disadvantage then, please, because of your chainmail?
Guidance.
Okay.
Of course.
With disadvantage, that is a 13.
13.
13 as well.
Ah,
And that's with your
Jinx.
guidance, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool. So yes, as you understand it, you are alone in this room and sneaking.
Other than the carvings, is there any other kind of storage or any other items that might be in here? Anything of use? Anything of note?
The only real other thing in this room that you can see of any interest is the stone brazier.
I will go over to it.
Okie doke.
Just need to look more closely to see what carvings are on it, or if it's anything.
Okay. So inside this stone brazier, there is a mound of coal in it. The carvings on the brazier don't appear to be anything beyond essentially what you've already seen. Again, Ogma, Mistra, Lathander, and Timora, and kind of carvings to revere them, really. However, as you are looking in the brazier, or rather, Saga, as you are seeing Thorik looking in the brazier, you see above him something slither and move.
Okay.
And you see these large tentacles splay out with a beak underneath the tentacles.
Oh, you're joking.
As a Grick emerges from the shadows above.
Oh,
And that is where we should end this week's episode.
Wayne!
that's the thing you fought last time, wasn't it? When I wasn't there in the
forest.
well.
In the bloody well.
Yes, in the well.
Well. Is it the same Grick? My nemesis.
We meet again.
Just got a vendetta against you.
Yeah. Sorry to think it's just one Grick.
The only Grick in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and or leave a rating and review on your podcatcher of choice. And you know what? leave a comment, because I love a good comment on a YouTube video. So yes, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week.